Hello everybody. Good morning and good evening. Shri Kumarswami College Ausa, District Latur welcomes all the honorable dignitaries and participants here on the virtual dais for the international conference which is organized by Department of Sociology. The college Shri Kumarswami College Ausa is run by Shri Mahant Swami Shikshan Prasarak Mandal Ausa, and the college is affiliated to Swami Ramananda Tirth Marathwada University, Nanded, Maharashtra, India. The college conducts many innovative activities and webinar series, and the international conferences are some of these. And all these things have become possible because of the hard efforts of the chief organizer, Principal Dr. E.M.M. Betkar sir. In the beginning of this international webinar, I invite the chief organizer. I welcome the chief organizer as the presiding authority of this international conference. Today, we are very fortunate and feeling honored to have the international dignitaries as the chief guests and keynote speakers for this international conference. And the topic of international conference is community participation for social development. I feel immense pleasure to welcome the chief guest and keynote speaker, Tamara Mathew ma'am, co-founder and CEO, USEE Global Serpa from Portugal, Europe. On behalf of the organizing committee of the international conference and the college, I heartily welcome you, ma'am, as the chief guest for this international conference. I am feeling pleasure to welcome the next chief guest and keynote speaker, Honorable Boluwatiwi Ayo-Opaleke ma'am from Nigeria. We are very happy to have you as the chief guest of this international conference. And after the keynote speeches of the honorable speakers, there will be technical session in which research papers will be presented. And for that, we have got the chief guest for that technical session, Honorable Dr. B.S. Jadhav sir, who is HOD of Sociology at the University Swami Ramananda Tirth Marathwada University, Maharashtra. I also welcome the organizing team of this international conference, convener Dr. Shivaji Balure sir, HOD Department of Sociology, Shri Kumarswami College Ausa, co-convener Dr. Patwari Dayanand sir, who is HOD Political Science, Shri Kumarswami College Ausa, and invited member Nagesh Sadhu sir. Now after this, I would like to begin, and I would like to invite the chief organizer of this international conference, Honorable Principal Dr. M.M. Betkar sir, for his welcome note. Please sir, welcome.
Thank you, Prakash sir.
Welcome.
It's the Kumarswami College Ausa, Maharashtra, India, running a series of international events, that is the international conferences. I welcome the international keynote speakers, Tamara Mathew madam, Boluwatiwi Ayo-Opaleke madam, our head department of Sociology, Balure sir, Dr. Patwari sir, Professor Karad sir, Mr. Nagesh sir, and session chair Dr. S.B. Jadhav sir. I am very happy that the renowned resource persons have joined. They will share their knowledge on their topic which are assigned to them. Tamara madam will share her knowledge on future development and reimagining the state queue. At the same time, after her speech, Boluwatiwi madam will explain the adaptive leadership advantages in crisis responses. I invite both of resource persons and I welcome from my institute to all of you and the respected resource person. Thank you for inviting me to welcome note. Now I will hand over this towards Prakash Karad sir, Professor Prakash Karad sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir, for your welcome note. Now we all participants are very eager to listen the keynote speeches by the honorable speakers. First of all, I would like to invite Honorable Tamara Mathew ma'am, who is co-founder and CEO of USEE Global from Portugal, Europe. The honorable guest is going to deliver her lecture on the topic Future Development and Reimagining the Status Quo. I invite you, ma'am, on behalf of the organizing committee for your keynote speech. Please, ma'am.
Thank you very much. Namaskaram, everyone. Thank you for having me. It's an honor to be invited to this wonderful international conference here today. I won't be holding a lecture. I'll be having a conversation with you because future development is something all of us are a part of. All of us play a role in our immediate surroundings, in our societies, in our nations, and globally to bring about the necessary change so that we can live in the future we want to live in a future where we can be proud, genuinely proud of what we have created. Because in any given moment in time, any global society is making history. And being aware of this, that each of us today is a part of history being written right now, I invite you to expand your mind into what a future could look like if we were to consciously design it together. If we were to focus on what matters to us, if we were to focus on well-being of individuals, on potentiating individual potential, on uniting and seeing that societies worldwide experience welfare and thrive alongside our planet, because we're in a point in time where it may have never mattered as much before as it does today. What each of us does, what our actions are, and what they lead to. So thank you so much for being here today with me to have this conversation. You know, just a few decades ago, depending on where you live, the thought of a non-authoritarian government being the new norm across the globe would have been unimaginable, let alone people voting, let alone women having the rights to vote. And we're here today, and I'm a woman, and I have a voice. And I have a voice that is loud enough to lead a movement and to offer a path into a future where people thrive alongside our planet. So let's look at this. Let's look at what it takes and where we're going. Because very often, I don't know if it has ever happened to you as individuals thinking of all these global issues. Have you ever felt overwhelmed at the sheer size of and amount of the and complexity of these global issues that we're dealing with today, we're not just looking at carbon emissions, we're looking still at quality education, at bringing people above poverty line, at having resources available to all of us, clean water, healthy food, having healthcare available to all of us. Because what makes up a great society, what keeps peace and joy within a society, goes beyond the collaboration. It starts at the root. And the root is our socioeconomic system. So now when we think about what we just mentioned earlier with democracy being spread all over the globe today, which was unthinkable just a few decades ago. What can we do today, which may be unthinkable that we could reach there, but if we all unite, we can achieve that goal. And we should, because we deserve to live in a world that accepts us as human beings and that allows us to thrive, to be healthy and fit, to be free, to create, to be participant in the creation of this very beautiful future that we can all live in. And, you know, I very much have huge admiration for India. My husband is actually Indian, and I love Indian culture so much. The Vedas, after thousands of years, are still so relevant today. And then we look at the socioeconomic system that over the course of time has developed out of ancient wisdom and science and technology. And here's the deal. The power invested in our ancestors at that time when the socioeconomic system that we live by today was created, that power is today lives with us, with all of us. We have that power. Because the people that created the socioeconomic system a decade, 2 decades, a century ago, they were no smarter than any of us. Let's face it. Humanity is so beautiful because from generation to generation, we're able to impart values and nurture cultures. And I'm here today to advocate for a global culture based on values of inclusiveness, of sustainability, and of regeneration. Because those are the values that, above any other values, will lead us to a future where all of us can be healthy, can be wealthy, and can be free, so that we can be peaceful as societies in the long term and express our joy in our creations, in our relationships. I advocate for a future where each of us has a voice, where we have platforms, where we come together to discuss issues. Because you know what? Differences among people are real. And sometimes getting over them is not easy. So can we come together as global society today and say, okay, you know what? Inclusiveness, sustainability, and regeneration is something we can all agree on. We can all imbibe in us and our children to move ahead and build a wonderful future where it's not just words, where these values get imbibed in everything we create, in the infrastructure that we build, whether it be physical or non-physical infrastructure. Are these values that we can agree on, that our children should be able to receive education based on these values? And will that help us create the future we want to live in? Will that help us create environments where we can feel safe, where we don't have to worry about, will there be water tomorrow? to give our children? Will there be food tomorrow to feed our families? Will there be a social structure that allows me to walk on the street with my children and be safe? Is that a future? Is this possibility real for us? Is that what we want? Is it that we understand that whatever Mother Earth has offered us so far is up to us to make it last forever? Because the bounties of this planet are infinite if we realize how to cooperate with Mother Earth. And with that said, I invite you all to become a part of this movement, to decide for yourself whether inclusiveness, and inclusiveness means what? We accept that each of us is different. And I challenge each of you to look at your families, at your bloodlines, and find just even one person that is like you. You won't find it. Because even in our families, we're all different. And there will be pearls, even at that level. So now let's imagine a global community, a global society coming together, respecting each other, and honoring the vision of the future we want to live in, and walking the path to get there together. Because we can. Imagine, never before, never in the history of humanity, I would have been able to be in Maharashtra today to hold a conversation with all of you, connecting people from all different countries and all different continents. Never before we have had this chance. And you know what? Technology may bring all sorts of things. We have heard so much about that, but it brings along with that a huge possibility for all of us. So let's take this possibility and make it worthwhile. Let's come together and create the future we want to live in. And I invite you to decide for yourself, is inclusiveness something that matters to me? Is it something that my children will be comfortable with? Is it something that will help us take the necessary steps to say, you know what, there is more important things today than just making a living within my four walls, thinking about my family, which is also important, of course. And all of us should be living in abundance because all of us are part of this planet. But is sustainability, inclusiveness, and regeneration something that I feel for myself is valuable and will lead us to the future we want to live in? And if so, I'm inviting you today to become a part of this movement, because we can. And as CEO and co-founder of USEE Global, I'm inviting you to see the vision, to see the future, and to see the change, and to be a part of it. I'm very grateful to be here today, to have been able to speak to you today. And I'd like to invite all of you to come join us and create this wonderful future along with us. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am, for your valuable words.
Thank you so much.
About the topic, future development and reimagining the status quo. In this keynote speech, you have emphasized on the inclusiveness, sustainability, and regeneration. And if these things will be followed, then this world will be very good for our future generations to live together. Thank you, ma'am, on behalf of the organizing committee for your keynote speech. Now, after this very illustrative and knowledgeable speech, we are heading towards the second keynote speech by the Honorable Keynote Speaker Boluwatiwi Ayo-Opaleke ma'am from Nigeria. She is going to deliver or share her knowledge on the topic adaptive leadership advantage in crisis response. I invite you, ma'am, for your keynote speech on the topic. Please, ma'am, Honorable Boluwatiwi Ayo-Opaleke ma'am from Nigeria. Welcome.
Thank you, Doctor. Thank you, everyone. It is such a pleasure to be here. As Tamara was speaking, I was just saying to myself that, it's such a wonderful thing when you have people across borders that have the same mindset, belief systems as you have. And so this is my thank you to everyone, to Dr. Betka, and then to everyone that is a part of this organizing committee that planned for this international conference. It signifies all that you are about. I went through your website a couple of weeks ago when I got the invite, and it just made me grin literally from ear to ear to see all that you are about, to see how you are intentional about pursuing innovation, your intentionality about being global citizens. And like Tamara said, technology has helped us to break so many divides. Now we can leverage technology. Like she said, no matter how we assume that a lot of ills also are as a result of technology. Technology has done a lot more good if we're willing to look than the bad. I hope that I am very audible. Okay, so I went to Google and then I asked, how do I greet in India? Because I'm coming to you, right? So you are my host and you are my host and I'm a guest, yes. So I thought to myself, okay, so it's important that I greet you in India. So this is me saying namaste. It's such a honor to be with you today to talk about a topic for me that is very profound, the adaptive leadership advantage in crisis response. It's not, everyone knows. I hope you can all hear me. Awesome. Okay, so everyone knows that leadership, that the world rises and falls literally on leadership. And that is why every time that there's an issue with any economy or with an organization, even with a small unit like a family, people look to leadership for solutions, So everyone literally knows that leadership, everything rises and falls on leadership. Now, you'll be wondering why my passion for adaptive leadership specifically. Adaptive leadership, is not just about reacting to crisis, reacting to challenges. That has its spot, but it's more about proactively shaping the future that you want. It is more about proactively engaging in the kind of change process that you desire. So it is a more proactive stance than reactive, So yes, we respond to stimuli as they come, but beyond that, adaptive leadership is basically about taking a proactive position, a proactive posture towards change, towards arriving at your desired goal. Okay, so very quickly now, what adaptive leadership is, or let me introduce myself a bit more. I like to say that I'm a positive change and an adaptive leadership enthusiast. I am a creative intelligence certified coach. I'm a writer. I'm a communicationist. I've worked in a number of roles, under different diverse establishments and things like that. I am driven. I like to say this because for me, I think it's important as human beings to determine very early on what drives us, what anchors us, the things that we leverage in terms of our hearts, the things that pursue us, our philosophies. And so for me, I'm driven by family, by excellence, by respect, by integrity, by love, by learning, and by empathy. Of course, I live in Lagos, Nigeria, but more importantly, I am a citizen of the world. Okay, so adaptive leadership is a concept, is an approach to leadership that the first time that anyone in the world heard about adaptive leadership was when Ron and Matthew, of the Harvard University first brought it up. So for some people, some people believe that adaptive leadership is a style of leadership, maybe likened to democracy or people that are one kind of government, communism, and the rest of that. But that is not really what it is. It is an approach. It is a mindset. It is a posture to leadership. And adaptive leadership simply means that per situation, you can very early on determine what kind of leadership style will be best suitable per situation. So it's a very contextual kind of leadership. Now, crisis, like we all know, since I'm talking about the adaptive leadership in crisis response, right? Crisis simply means some type of uncertainty, something that happens to you suddenly, usually, something that is not pleasant, something that you were not looking forward to, usually has a bad, crisis. When you hear crisis, the words that come to your mind is something bad, something unhappy, people are afraid, and things like that. Those are the words that are usually associated with crisis. Now, the difference between adaptive challenges and technical challenges, I have to say this, is the fact that technical challenges happen to us every day, right? So many of us on our jobs, perhaps you're a mathematician, you have a solution that is, a puzzle that is like really, really working you up. And so you seek help from colleagues, from acquaintances, but from people that are in the same walk of life as you are. You look to them for solutions, right? Because they are technically inclined to solve those solutions. Adaptive leadership, however, is about solving solutions that are not exactly your typical challenges, okay? So crisis in the world, we know that wars, happen that caused degenerations and all of that. What truth of the matter is that no two words are exactly alike because, again, no two people are exactly alike. So the whatever is responsible for the contention would likely be something that has never happened before, even when it appears that it has happened. Let me take that again. So we are very similar world round, right? In terms of our DNA sequencing, if you cut me, I bleed red, right? I don't bleed blue or purple or white, So regardless of the race, religion that we come from, ethnicity, we all are fundamentally human beings with 2 eyes, 2 ears, a nose, a beating heart, and stuff like that. So we have a lot of things that make us similar. In spite of that, we also have a lot of things that differentiate us one person from another. It's interesting at this juncture, I should say that there's a book that I wrote, it's called The Art of Difference. That just speaks to exactly what Tamara was saying, that we work in a world right now where we have to be more and more inclusive, and not using inclusive as a buzzword or using diversity as, a catchphrase of sorts, but to really know what it is about. It is about being respectful, of the nuances of other people. It is accepting that people are slightly wired, different, nurtured from you, and telling yourself that knowing all of these things, you would respect them. I usually like to say that every human being, no matter how little they are, literally a newborn baby knows when they don't want something. You're giving a baby milk and she's like, hell no, I don't want to drink milk right now. I want to poo. So even a child knows what they don't want and they know what they want. So every human being has a need to be seen, to be heard, to be understood, to be respected. Every human being deserves to be interacted with a level of dignity, a base level of respect. Okay, so going back to what I'm talking about, so the significance of adaptive leadership in crisis response, therefore, is something that really should be looked at, okay? So quickly, I'll be looking at the principles of adaptive leadership contextually when it comes to crisis response. 2 things are like fundamentals or foundations upon which adaptive leadership rests when it comes to responding to crisis. One is character. Character means your mindset, your beliefs, your values, your philosophies about life. How open are you to people? What is your perspective about problems? How do you see problems? How do you view and interpret challenges? Do you see them as opportunities? Do you see them as bends, curveballs? Do you see them as ends? Like once you hit a brick road, you just throw in the towel and tell yourself, I can't go on after now. Is that how you approach, life? Because truth of the matter is that how you approach life is very likely how you approach the crisis moments in your life. So in life, we have valley times, times when you just go into a dip. You have mountain moments, moments when you look forward to achieving a goal and there's just this thing in front of you that prevents you from reaching for the things that you want. So what are your mindsets? What kind of beliefs drive you about the concept of change altogether? And then the second foundation for me, as a principle of that leadership, is the foundation of capacity. Now, this is where we all usually like to talk about, right? Because capacity refers to your skills. So whether it's your soft skills or your hard skills, things like, communication, selling, accounting, architecture, marketing, sales, all of these things are the capacity that you have. The things that many of us went to school to study, arts, for instance, those are your capacity, the things that you can do technically, the things you can do with your hand, the things that when anybody wakes you up to do, you're spot on. You can just achieve that because you are wired to do it. One, that is your talent. And then you have, by reason of education, improved upon the things that you have learned. And so you feel that, that's your comfort zone. So your skills, right, as per capacity, those are your hard skills. Then your soft skills come into question. Soft skills such as resilience, flexibility, agility, Is someone saying, I can see Nilam was saying something. Are you asking a question, Nilam? Oh, okay. All right. So you mean what your soft skills, and those are the things that really matter when push comes to shove. I'm sure many of us have that one person in our lives, that one person in our organization, that one person in our family, that one person in our team, that is quite the brilliant person, but has a very terrible attitude. Some of us have people that are brilliant, like that literal geniuses. They come into the room and their IQ is just way up there, like literally unmatched. And then they open their mouths to speak and they're just full of themselves. They reek of arrogance or disrespect, No matter how great they are at their craft, truth is, usually it's a turn off for many people, So it's important for us not just to focus, because that's what we do a lot in many workplaces. We focus a lot on capacity, soft, hard skills. Those are great, by the way, because what you use is character. What you use is a great person, that has great philosophies and all of that, that doesn't know how to get things done, right? So it's about harmony. It's about integrating all important aspects or all important elements of adaptive leadership. That is what allows us to confront crisis. That is what allows us to thrive in the midst of uncertainties. Okay, so I want to talk about a few strategies and a framework right now. For me, arguably, maybe because I have a positive bias for communication, my most important framework usually for any kind of strategy, whatever it is, in any kind of leadership setting will be communication. Communication answers the question of why, how, what, whom, who. Why are you wanting to change? Why are you demanding change of me? Why do we want a solution to this problem? Why do we even think it's a problem to begin with? So is it possible that the way they say one man's meat is another man's poison? Is it possible that what you see as a crisis might not be a crisis after all? Perhaps it's just a pat on the back. Perhaps it's just something that is like a catalyst that is pushing you, that is helping you to see, opening your mind's eye to appreciate something that perhaps you would not have naturally looked at. So for me, communication is the one important strategy or framework upon which adaptive leadership thrives. So how do you want to communicate? Now, your protocol for communication is important. It's not just enough. Someone said that, communication really is two-way street, three-way perhaps for some people, depending on the number of stakeholders, that are in the communication pool. But communication is about me sending a message to you, and then the receiver hears exactly what it is I'm trying to send, understands it, processes it, and then gives me feedback or feed forward to determine or to help me know that communication actually took place. So if you're sending out a message and you're not articulating well, you are not being careful, being intentional, being deliberate to note the biases that may hinder communication from being effective and efficient, then communication has not really taken place now, has it? So you have to tell yourself that I will take responsibility for the quality of communication that I engage in. I will take responsibility for how I communicate. There's this bank advert that I always like to refer to, in almost every time that I'm called to talk or to share. And it's a bank advert that shows, the differences in cultures across the world. Something as little as taking a cup of water, right? Excuse me. And drinking a cup of water in some places. So say I came to visit you on a Monday morning in your office, and you give me a cup of tea, cup of coffee. I prefer coffee, so yeah, a cup of coffee. I will take the coffee, and then once I'm done, I just place the cup and the teaspoon right beside it on the saucer, right on the side plate. For some people, that communicates to them that you enjoy the coffee. For some other people, you have to turn the cup upside down and then put the teaspoon upside down as well to show that you enjoy the coffee. For some other people, while you are taking the coffee, you have to make those sloppy sounds, those like, I'm really enjoying the coffee. Now, this is just to show that different human beings react differently to things. So it's important for you to learn. You cannot know it all, but it's important as a leader for you to learn the culture, the baseline culture of the people you want to go and engage with. In some places in my, local area in Nigeria, when a child, wants to give you something and hands it over to you with the left hand, it shows disrespect. Now, in some other countries where you have people that are left-handed, and they are already used to writing with their left hands and things that is not, we have those numbers here as well, but they're not in large numbers. And you have people like that, in other countries, that now do that and extend the left hand to you. You might be very unaware that whatever it was handed over to you with the left hand, because that is not a big deal in your own culture, but it is in someone else's culture. So when you step into an environment, yes, we are global citizens, just like, your website said at the school's website. But in being global citizens, it is not to, the bottom line I think that I'm trying to communicate here is be aware of the environment that you want to be in, you want to engage with per time. And although you have your own uniqueness, seek first to understand rather than to be understood. I'll take that again. Seek first to understand rather than to be understood. Because you know what? When you do that, when you want to understand, you are literally extending an olive branch to people. When you seek first to understand someone, what happens is that you have unconsciously bypassed their conscious resistance to change. So when you begin to solicit it, when you begin to suggest, ways of doing things, you will meet with lesser resistance because you have, everybody loves respect. Everybody wants to be heard, wants to be seen, wants to be understood, like I said earlier on. So when you show that I know where you're coming from, I do not know it all, but I'm willing to learn. I'm open-minded, as long as it does not affect my core values, I'm open to learn now. I'm open to unlearning because again, we look at learning as taking on new things. The truth of the matter is that as we grow older, the majority of learning that we'll be doing is to unlearn many of the things that we learned as young children. Because again, the world is expanding and at the same time, it's getting smaller. So I can speak to Dr. Becker all the way in India. We are literally 5 hours behind. Dr. Becker was chatting with me this morning and I could feel that he was agitated, right? Because he was wondering that I'm not, awake yet. I haven't responded to his messages. And then I was just sleeping away because it was nighttime here in Nigeria, and I had to make him, comfortable with the fact that, you know what, I got you. I've noted what the time is and I'm going to be with you in about 3 hours or so. So that is just extending courtesy. Dignity of persons is something that we must take seriously if we are going to be able to navigate change, if we are going to be able to confront crisis, if we are going to be able to actually, go through transformation. positive differences in the lives of people, if we're going to be able to turn around institutions, if we're going to be able to turn around mindsets, if we're going to be able to challenge ways of life. Now, another thing I want to talk about is creativity and innovation. And I like that these two things show literally in all of your communication materials. Going through your website, there were so many areas where you touched on creativity, where you touched on innovation. And I said it's a big deal for you. And I'm glad. I celebrate you for that, because it is what it is. We all are creative people. So if you have 200 billion people on the face of the planet, it matters that is how much creativity at the minimum that we have. One person sometimes even wields a lot more creativity than just one, right? So it's important for us to focus a lot on this solution that I want to birth, this suggestion that I want to give to this crisis. Is it creative? Am I delivering it in a creative manner? Am I delivering it in a manner that is innovative? Because again, there's a generational gap. And many teams are no longer made up of the same generation as they were in the past. Right now, in my team, I have people, I'm over 40, I have people that are I have people that are teens, actually. If I have one pre-teen in my team, then I have people that are, middle age, I have people that are way older, like in their 60s as well. Now, because of the generational gaps that we have, if you are not open to creativity and innovation in how you deliver on your solutions, you will leave a lot of people behind. Some people will feel not spoken to. Some people will feel not understood. And that's not the kind of scenario that you want to have if your focus is on attending to crisis, if your focus is on resolving crisis. Okay, so change management. This is something I love. I mean, you can see me literally buzzing from ear to ear, like grinning. Whenever I hear the word change management, I just get happy, because you know what? Every human being can change. Gone are the days when you say to yourself, I was born this way, there's nothing I can do about it. I'm just like that, I'm just blunt. I say my mind, no holds barred. No. You work in a community. We are social beings. There are rules of engagement. There are guidelines to interacting healthily with people. Like I said, any kind of interaction you want to have with a human being that would be condescending, that would not take into account their dignity, should not even happen to begin with. If this was the norm, then many of the, conflicts and the dissolutions and the wars that we have today would not even be. Because to just take a little bit of dialogue to resolve issues, to say to you, I see you, I hear you, I understand what you're saying. However, I have a different point of view. I have a different perspective on the issue. Are you willing to, think this in this direction? Are you willing to, accommodate maybe this slight change? And then the briefing about change management is when you can show someone what the roadmap of change really looks like as clearly as possible. If you can show someone what the end product of your change process will be from the beginning, it helps them to visualize, to conceptualize change, and it helps them, therefore, to be more accepting of that change. So your decision making, that's another important strategy or framework. When you're making decisions, do you make decisions all by yourself? Do you think that you are the alpha, the omega, you're the smartest person in the room? No other person can do it like you. Is that how you are? Some people might not be able to articulate verbally or orally, but they are geniuses. And all they just need is maybe a piece of paper to write down their thoughts. Some other people cannot even articulate, in writing, and they might have a lot of, errors, grammatical errors and mistakes, but you just need to sit with them, in a very casual environment, perhaps over coffee. I like coffee. Yeah, I said that earlier, right? Okay. So you might just have to sit over coffee with them, and they begin to unburden and share with you and open your mind's eye to creativity or matched innovation. So as a leader, are you the kind of person that listens to what your team has to say? Remember that we're talking about crisis resolution. We're talking about responding to crisis. What is your response like to crisis? Because whatever the leader's response to crisis is more likely to be what the team members would adopt as a strategy for responding to crisis. And then culture, I can't say this enough. Culture is such an important framework. What culture are you building as an organization? Do you want to build people that believe that they can? Do you want to push people to know that they can do things, they are enough by themselves, and that continuous learning should be a principle. I think there's a Japanese word called kaizen that refers to continuous improvement, continuous transformation. Like you're never quite there. Yes, it's not to say that you are ungrateful for where you are at, but it's to say that there's always a better place that you can be. And, it just keeps you going. It just keeps you wanting to improve. And it doesn't have to be in the four walls of the university. It doesn't have to be through formal education. It could be just through reading somebody's LinkedIn post, It could be just through picking up a piece of paper. It could be just through observation. Sometimes all you just need to do is just sit down, look out through your window and just observe people on the streets, how they behave, how they interact. You'll be amazed at the kind of learnings that you will take on. So this is where I'll close. I am being mindful of time. I know that Tamara kept the time, so I want to be able to do the same because there are a lot of people that want to share things. I'm open to questions that you may have. Let me quickly see if there's anything that I left out. Okay, so the way to contact me, if you want to contact me, my name is Boluwatiwi Ayo-Opaleke. I know that it's a mouthful, but if you take it one syllable after the other, you'll be able to pronounce it. Okay, so it's Boluwatiwi. That's my first name. It's such a pleasure to be here. I hope that you have, learned a thing or two. If you haven't taken on any new learning, I hope that you have been reminded of a thing or two. I hope that you have been encouraged, challenged, urged to take yourself seriously as a leader first, to be able to navigate crisis, to be able to walk through crisis. I wanted to give a lot of, anecdotes about people in life that have gone through positive change and how they have led their teams. I mean, Martin Luther King did that in his time. The CEO of Apple was able to achieve a lot through adaptive leadership. He realized that things were being done the same way over and again. He had to infuse something different. That's where creativity and innovation comes in. He did that, and Apple became what it is today, the giant of tech. And even look at right now, there's the metaverse coming in. So there's 2D, there's 3D, there's 4D. Like all of the advancements that we know today was because somebody dared to positively disrupt the status quo. And that's exactly how we should approach crisis. That's exactly how we should respond when we see challenges. See them as obstacles, yes, but more or less like hurdles. Like if you were running and you had an obstacle race and you had hurdles, on your 100-meter mark, you will have to jump each hurdle. That is how you should approach crisis or challenges as an adaptive leader. So I encourage you today, be the best person that you can be. Be the leader that you would want to follow. Thank you very much again, Dr. Becker. It was such a pleasure to share my thoughts. God bless you all.
Thank you, ma'am, for your illustrative and informative speech on the topic, the adaptive leadership, advantage in crisis response. Very useful and fruitful lecture for all of us. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. And thank you, both the chief guests and keynote speakers. The college, the institute is very thankful and grateful to you for sharing your knowledge and experiences and for enlightening us and all the participants. Now, after this, there will be technical session. And as I informed before, that today we have got the chief guest of the technical session, Honorable Dr. Baburao, Honorable Dr. Jadhav sir from Swami Ramananda Tirth Marathwada University, Nanded. Number of national and international papers have been written by him. Also, there are many books to his credit. He is also BOS member of SRTM University, Nanded. And now for this technical session, I would like to invite Dr. Jadhav sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you. I am audible.
Opinion about the keynote speeches of the honorable speakers. Yes, sir. You are audible.
I am audible.
Yes, sir.
Okay. At the outset, I am very thankful to the organizer who has invited me as a chairperson of this technical session in this international conference on community participation for social development. I appreciate the effort taken by Shri Kumarswami Mahavidyalaya Ausa, District Latur, Maharashtra, Nanded, who invited two international scholars to talk about very contemporary, very important theme, community participation for social development. In the contemporary era or in the contemporary global era, if you see that there is a need to talk about the social development, and our first chief guest, Tamara Mathew, has she talk less, but she talk very meaningful. She give the history of development and talk that key in the present context, how we have to be develop a partnership, follow the peaceful, and with the help of technology, we come together talking about the human values, democratic values, and which is very necessary, important in the present context. And she suggested that to have a develop a partnership, we have to develop partnership at global level. And she suggested that through the communication way, through the technology, we come together and talk about the sustainability, regeneration, and overall her lectures more pointed out the qualitative life of a human development, qualitative aspects of a human being. Mostly we can see that key development is always try to measure with the economic growth or production or money, but see mostly focus on the democratic value, harmony, peace, culture, or human dignity. All these qualitative aspects are so important. If you wanted to bring out social development, we have to focus on the equality, gender justice, social equality, gender equality in the society. And in the present context, we are talking about the sustainable development, because the existing model, growth model of development has neglected to focus on the environment or natural resources. The economic growth model has pointed out the many issues in the society at large, at global level. If you see the report of 1972, the limits to growth, pointed out how the existing model of development is a fail to bring out the social justice, equality, social development in the society. Many people are excluded from the development mainstreams. Therefore, Tamara argued that we have to bring inclusive development. Inclusive development means each and every sections of the society to get the benefits. They utilize their inner capacities. They fulfill their basic needs. As we know that Amartya Sen is a well-known Indian scholar who is also Nobel laureate, as talking about development is a freedom and choice, and he focused on the capability approach of development. Each and every individual have to be capable to exercise his choice, or unless or until we cannot build up his capacity. How to build? We have to provide good education, good health, good food, and that all these three major process will bring out the development, social development. So we are very thankful to the Tamara madam. She has speak very good and suggested us to have come together at not only at regional or national level, we have to come together at global level through the mass media or technology. Now it has become so easy. See, the college of Ausa, Shri Kumarswami Mahavidyalaya, has taken initiative to call the international from resource persons from Nigeria and from Portugal, Europe. So we have to take such a type of initiative and organize such many workshop and seminars. So next speaker, Boluwatiwi, has talked also very important the role of leadership. She suggested that we should be adopted such a leader, we should be very flexible. We have to see the contextuals and contemporary crisis, and we should be always actively adaptive, actively creative, innovative, to give the response to the contemporary crisis and play the role of as a good leader. And she suggested that for leadership we have to follow the communication. She given the most importance on the communication strategy. Communication strategy, open-mindedness play the very important role to develop a leadership. For this leadership is very important to bring out the social development. We have to become the part of a community development, social development. So we have to be adjustive, open-minded, creative, innovative. Then such type of role have to be played, and each and everybody then will be success to bring out social development. So friends, here I will be invited the paper presenters, those who are send paper for this conference. So we have to limited time. So each and everybody will give 5 minutes. Those who are interested, they can read their papers. So the dais is open for the paper presentation.
First of all, thank you, sir,
Yeah.
for your summary of both the keynote speakers, their speeches, and also for your valuable opinion about their speeches and your own opinion about the college and about the international conference. Thank you, sir. Now, as you have said, now there will be paper presentation, and here we have got some names. First of all, I would like to invite Dr. Savopriya Chatterjee, ma'am, Assistant Professor in English from West Bengal, Gaurav Guin Memorial College. I invite Dr. Savopriya Chatterjee from West Bengal, India.
Thank you, sir.
Yes,
Good
welcome.
afternoon. Good afternoon. I am Dr. Shupriya Chatterjee. I work as an assistant professor in English in Gaurav Guin Memorial College. And today I will be presenting a paper. The name of my paper, the title, the topic of my paper is Working for the Common Good, Community Life and Social Consciousness in Charlotte Perkins Gilman's novel, that is Harland. So please allow me to share my screen with you. Can you see the screen?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm working on Harland. It is a novel by Charlotte Perkins Gilman, who is an American feminist author. And this novel was published in 1915. It is a utopian novel. And the story that is there in the novel is Charlotte Perkins Gilman. She imagined a country of women who lived on a high equatorial plateau. That plateau was separated from the rest of the world, and it was about 10 or 12,000 square miles. It supported about 3 million women and girls who lived a communal life. They reproduced parthenogenetically, and they considered all the children. Okay. Just a minute. And they lived a communal life. They reproduced parthenogenetically, and they considered all the children. The children, they were all girls. That was a country which was where only women lived, and so their children, they were also girls, and they considered all the children to be their own children. Now, suddenly, that Plato, that particular female world was being discovered by a group of 3 men, and the story that is being narrated by a male narrator, who is one of the men from that group of three men, Van, Jeff, and Terry. And the narrator is Van, who is telling the story to us. So, Harland, this novel, it presents an isolated society, a society which presents an ideal social order, and that is free from war, that is free from conflict, that is free from any kind of domination. It is a hypothetical women-centered society. The primary purpose of Harland is the exposition of Gilman's interconnected ideas about economics, education, clothing, prisons, parenting, male-female relationships, human evolution, and social organization generally. And my paper, it aims to foster a deep understanding of the phenomena of community participation and its manifestations in Harland. So we find that in Harland, the women and children, they lived a communal life and they are always working together for the common good. Their society, it is an ideal society, a utopia, and there is no war, no conflict, no domination, and they are rather than losing their individuality, they are always in pursuit of a common goal. Harlandian women, they are creating a safe, progressive, and happy community for their daughters and granddaughters. The citizen, they are working together for the common good instead of focusing on individual gain. There is no poverty, and every individual citizen, they are enjoying a high standard of living as a result of their dedication to making life better for everyone. Poverty is something, it is not something that Harlandians are faced with. Women, they are living a comfortable life. They are living with far greater security than those in America. Everything was beauty, order, perfect cleanliness, and the pleasantest sense of home over it all. The beauty, order, and sense of home reflects Harlandians' collective belief that the entire community, the entire country is their home and should therefore be treated and maintained. So the children, when we are talking about mothering, the children are they are being seen as the most precious part of the nation, and so the children's education, that is being considered as a community-wide effort and is geared with making the best kind of people to ensure continued happiness for the community as a whole. Equal education in childhood results in greater equality in adulthood, which helps to promote a sense of unity and oneness that is then passed on to the next generation. So the overarching theme in Harland is that from women's roles and values as mothers springs a fundamentally important social current that society ignores at its collective peril. Mothering is a social activity in which all members of society they should engage together. A social mother is concerned with not only the welfare of her own children but also support happiness and prosperity of all children in general. If the world is were run from the point of view of social mothering, we would notice that women's values provide an excellent basis of society for the society. We are able to glimpse into a life, what life would be like without the presence of men in Harland. And with Harland, Gilman illustrates how women who have a passion for such a wide range of activities, they can turn a world into a harmonious a place where beauty, where we find honesty, we find that they are living without any kind of poverty, and universal education is there. So we find that a sense of unity and kinship is between the individual citizens in Harland, and every individual Harlandian, they are concerned with the future of the entire community, and they are never giving importance to individual profit. So this is what the novel is all about, and how the theme of community is being treated in the novel, and the importance of fostering a sense of community is throughout the novel. So this is all what I had wanted to say. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am, for presentation of your research paper. Now, after the presentation of Dr. Supriya Chatterjee, ma'am, the next participant or the delegate who is going to present research paper is Dr. Hemlata Masiwal, ma'am, from B.M. Ruya Girls College, Gamdevi, Mumbai. She is an assistant professor in commerce and accountancy. She is going to present a research paper on the topic assessing the contribution of community participation in local development. Please, ma'am, welcome. Dr. Hemlata Masiwal, ma'am. If you are present, please make your camera on and let us know about your presence. Please.
Yeah. Hello.
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
Myself, Dr. Hemlata Masiwal, Assistant Professor in Sociology Department, sir. From B.M. Ruya Girls College, Mumbai. My university is affiliated to SNDT University. मैं अपना पेपर जो है वो हिंदी में पढ़ना चाहूँगी, क्योंकि मैं हिंदी मीडियम में ही पढ़ाती हूँ. आपने हमें यहाँ पर पढ़ने का मौका दिया, पेपर पढ़ने का, उसके लिए बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद. मेरा टॉपिक है स्थानीय विकास में सामुदायिक भागीदारी के योगदान का आंकलन करना. यह अध्ययन स्थानीय विकास में सामुदायिक भागीदारी के योगदान का आंकलन करने उद्देश्य से आयोजित किया गया है. स्थानीय विकास में सामुदायिक भागीदारी राष्ट्रीय पुनर्जागरण के लिए एक शर्त है, जो विकासात्मक उद्देश्यों को निर्धारित करने और विकास और लोकतांत्रिकरण के स्थानीय विचारों और ज्ञान को परिवर्तित करने के संबंध में समाज के विभिन्न हितधारकों के बीच संवाद को आमंत्रित करती है. सामुदायिक सहभागिता आधारित स्थानीय विकास समय की मांग है. इस अध्ययन के में एक वर्णनात्मक शोध डिजाइन का नियोजित किया गया है. यह डेटा द्वितीयक स्रोतों का उपयोग किया गया है, जो व्यक्तिगत अवलोकन और दस्तावेजों के विश्लेषण द्वारा एकत्रित किया गया है. 1980 के दशक के बाद से यह विचार कि सामुदायिक स्थानीय विकास पहलुओं के माध्यम से अपनी जरूरतों को पूरा कर सकते हैं, वैश्विक और स्थानीय स्तर पर इसकी गति पकड़ी है, क्योंकि यह स्पष्ट हो गया है कि आर्थिक और सामाजिक विकास केवल राष्ट्रीय वैश्विक उद्यमों और राज्य पूंजीपतियों की वृद्धि से उत्पन्न नहीं हो सकता. विकास की कई नीतियों निर्माताओं ने अपना ध्यान विकास के नौकरशाहों से उन्मुख प्रतिमानों से हटाकर समुदाय उन्मुख विकास पर केंद्रित कर दिया है. इसका तात्पर्य यह है कि स्थानीय विकास के लिए स्थानीय समुदाय की भागीदारी बहुत महत्वपूर्ण है. स्थानीय विकास एक सामाजिक प्रक्रिया है, जिसके द्वारा व्यक्ति रहने के लिए अधिक सक्षम बन सकते हैं और स्थानीय परिस्थितियों और बदलती दुनिया के कुछ नियंत्रण हासिल कर सकते हैं. उपरोक्त बातों को ध्यान में रखते हुए हितधारकों को स्थानीय परिस्थितियों पर नियंत्रण हासिल करने और सामुदायिक स्तर पर प्रभावी नेतृत्व के माध्यम से संसाधनों का दोहन करने का उचित अवसर देने की आवश्यकता है. यह स्थानीयता अव्यक्त और मौजूदा प्रतिस्पर्धी और तुलनात्मक लाभों के दोहन के बारे में है. यह स्थानीय विकास को स्थानीय जीवन स्तर, कृषि उत्पादन, रोजगार के अवसरों और पर्यावरण में सुधार के रूप में समझा जाता है. यह एक ऐसी प्रक्रिया है जहां स्थानीय लोग न केवल अधिक नौकरियां पैदा कर सकते हैं, न केवल आय और बुनियादी ढांचा, बल्कि उनके समुदाय को परिवर्तन का प्रबंधन करने में मौलिक रूप से बेहतर सक्षम बनाने में भी मदद करता है. स्थानीय विकास के संदर्भ में सामुदायिक भागीदारी एक सक्रिय प्रक्रिया के रूप में कार्य करती है। इसके तहत स्थानीय लाभार्थी विकास नीतियों और विचारधाराओं को प्रभावित करते हैं और प्रतिबिंबित करते हैं। इसके बजाय इन्हें केवल निर्णय, लाभ, लागत का हिस्सा प्राप्त होता है। यह गरीब लोगों के लिए उच्च जीवन स्तर और अधिक न्याय संगत स्थितियों प्राप्त करने का एक बेहतरीन तरीका है, ताकि यह सुनिश्चित किया जा सके कि उनकी मूलभूत जरूरतें पूरी हों और उन निर्णयों में शामिल हों जो समाज के विकास के तरीकों को निर्धारित करते हैं। सामुदायिक विकास का एक प्रमुख उद्देश्य निर्णय लेने की प्रक्रिया में स्थानीय ज्ञान प्राथमिकताओं को शामिल करना है। उन संभावित लाभार्थियों महत्वपूर्ण निर्णय लेने के सक्षम होते हैं तो भागीदारी स्वयं आरंभ की गई कार्रवाई बन जाती है, जिसे आवाज और पसंद का अभ्यास यानी अध्ययन या सशक्तिकरण के रूप में जाना जाता है। स्थानीय विकास की भूमिका समुदाय की रही क्योंकि इसकी क्षमता स्थापित हो चुकी है। भारत की कृषि अर्थव्यवस्था धीरे धीरे औद्योगिक विकास की ओर बढ़ रही है। जहां देश कृषि प्रधान देश है, उसी आबादी का एक बड़ा हिस्सा पारंपरिक खेती के तरीकों, अप्रत्याशित बारिश, गैर आर्थिक प्रथाओं और कृषि क्षेत्रों में गैर सामंजस्यपूर्ण अवसरों के कारण अनिश्चित आर्थिक जीवन जी रहा है। पहला काम, समुदाय में किसी भी गतिविधि के लिए उन्हें राजी करना होगा ताकि वो अपनी इच्छा से विभिन्न गतिविधियों में शामिल हो सकें। नागरिकों के स्वयं विकास को सुनिश्चित करने के और स्थायी तरीकों से सुशासन पहल करने की सफलता के लिए सार्वजनिक भागीदारी मुख्य है। इसके कुछ उद्देश्य हमने लिए हैं। स्थानीय विकास में सामुदायिक भागीदारी के आयामों को हमें समझना होगा और स्थानीय समुदाय की भागीदारी के स्तर का पता लगाना होगा और स्थानीय समुदाय विकास को किस प्रकार देखा जाए उसकी जांच करनी होगी और स्थानीय विकास दृष्टिकोण और नीति कार्यान्वयन का आंकलन करना होगा। राष्ट्रीय आर्थिक परिवर्तन के निचले स्तर के विकास के अवसरों को हमें पहचान करनी होगी। सामुदायिक भागीदारी अभ्यास बड़े पैमाने पर आबादी के भागीदारी को आमंत्रित करती है, जिससे स्थानीय विकास निर्णय लेने में सामुदायिक विकास की पहुंच बढ़ेगी। और दूसरा, स्थानीय विकास की सक्रिय सामुदायिक भागीदारी यानी जो लोकल जो लोग हैं उनके सक्रिय भागीदारी में स्थानीय सामाजिक आर्थिक आवाज उठाने में उनको मदद मिलेगी और साथ ही उनका जो विकास है उसकी प्रक्रिया तेजी से राष्ट्रीय और स्थानीय स्तर पर राह पकड़ेगी। लैंगिक समानता और स्थानीय विकास गतिविधियों में महिलाओं की भागीदारी बढ़ेगी और महिलाएं स्थानीय और राष्ट्रीय विकास के लोकतांत्रिक निर्माण और संस्थागत पुनर्निर्माण की महत्वपूर्ण भूमिका निभाएंगी। वे राजनीति शास्त्र, अर्थशास्त्र, सामाजिक और आर्थिक मामलों में अपनी भागीदारी का एक अनिवार्य हिस्सा प्रदर्शित कर सकती हैं। पर्यावरणीय स्थिरता और स्थानीय विकास, पर्यावरण संरक्षण पर प्रबंधन की जागरूकता की वृद्धि वह दर्शाती है और समुदायों के में उनके प्रति सामाजिक और आर्थिक विकास और पर्यावरण के महत्व के बारे में समझती है। स्थानीय संसाधन वितरण और स्थानीय विकास, सतत विकास को आगे बढ़ाने के लिए स्थानीय अधिकार क्षेत्र निवासियों के बीच न्याय और स्थानीय संसाधनों का उचित वितरण होना जरूरी है। स्थानीय सेवा वितरण प्रणाली और क्षमता और स्थानीय विकास, स्थानीय सेवाएं जैसे आर्थिक सामाजिक सेवाएं, उसमें स्कूल, बिजली, पानी यानी जो हमारी मूलभूत सुविधाएं हैं, स्वास्थ्य सेवाएं, पुलिस सेवाएं, परिवहन, संचार सेवाएं, प्रशासनिक कानूनी सेवाएं, डाकघर आदि सबको सम्मिलित किया जाता है। स्थानीय लोगों को सार्वजनिक सेवाओं की आपूर्ति के लिए प्रशासनिक दक्षता में वृद्धि समाज स्थानीय विकास को बढ़ावा देगी। स्थानीय विकास हासिल करने के लिए तर्क संगत और ऊर्जावान व्यक्ति अधिक महत्वपूर्ण अपनी भूमिका निभा पाएंगे। अंत में कंक्लूजन पे, स्थानीय सामाजिक और आर्थिक मामलों में सामुदायिक भागीदारी सामाजिक आर्थिक प्रथाओं और पर्यावरणीय पुनर्वास को विकसित करने में महत्वपूर्ण भूमिका निभाएगी। स्थानीय लोग रूढ़िवादी परंपरावादी हैं जिनका राष्ट्रीय और क्षेत्रीय राजनीतिक और आर्थिक विचारों और कार्यक्रमों से संबंधित अनुभव स्थानीय विकास को प्रभावित करने में महत्वपूर्ण है। उन्हें इस बात का ज्ञान या इस बात की जानकारी देना आवश्यक है जैसे कि स्थानीय विकास मूल रूप से स्थानीय स्व आरंभ और सक्रिय भागीदारी से होगा। इसके अलावा स्थानीय राजनीतिक संस्थान, आर्थिक संस्थान, सामाजिक संस्थान, सांस्कृतिक संस्थान जो कि स्थानीय विकास और सामुदायिक भागीदारी को आगे बढ़ाएंगे और वह हर एक व्यक्ति के व्यक्तित्व पर प्रभाव डालेंगे। स्थानीय स्तर पर किसी भी नीति और कार्यक्रम के कार्यान्वयन का अंतिम चरण जो होगा वह उदार स्थानीय विकास को बढ़ावा देगा। अंत में मैं कुछ रिकमेंडेशन देना चाहूंगी, सिफारिशें जो हैं। यह हमें विश्वास करना होगा कि स्थानीय विकास को मजबूत करने और पर्यावरणीय पुनर्वास को बनाए रखने के लिए सक्रिय सामुदायिक भागीदारी महत्वपूर्ण है। स्थानीय विकास में सामुदायिक विकास को आगे बढ़ाना होगा, उन्नत करना होगा और बेहतर करना होगा। स्थानीय विकास में सामुदायिक भागीदारी को सुदृढ़ करने के लिए एक अच्छी शिक्षा प्रणाली, पाठ्यक्रम, शैक्षिक गुणवत्ता इसको बढ़ाना होगा। स्थानीय लोगों को कड़ी मेहनत और आत्मनिर्भरता पर विश्वास करने के लिए औद्योगिक क्रांति की आवश्यकता है, ऐसा विश्वास उन्हें दिलाना होगा। वृक्षारोपण और हरित क्रांति संरक्षण पर प्रतिबद्धता पर वापस से लौटना होगा। प्रशिक्षण कार्यक्रम, कार्यशालाएं शुरू करने के लिए स्थानीय विकास हस्तक्षेपों में भागीदारी प्रथाओं के संबंध में स्थानीय समुदाय और लोगों की मानसिकता को बदलने की आवश्यकता है और उन्हें उसमें बदलने में उन्हें मदद मिलेगी। सर धन्यवाद। मैं श्री कुमारस्वामी महाविद्यालय ओशा लातूर का बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद करना चाहती हूँ जिन्होंने हमें यहाँ पर पेपर पढ़ने के लिए मौका दिया। Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. Dr. Himlata Maswal, Department of Sociology from B.M. Ruia Girls College. Now, after this, I would like to invite the delegate, Dr. Ganatra Kashyap A. from B.M. Ruia Girls College, Gamdevi, Mumbai. The topic of research paper is the role of people's participation in community development. Please, Dr. Ganatra Kashyap.
Yes, Prakash sir. Thank you very much. I hope, sir, I'm audible to everyone.
Yes.
Yeah. Thank you, sir. A very good evening to everyone. I'm Dr. Ganatra Kashyap from BM Ruya Girls College, Department of Commerce and Accountancy. I'm an assistant professor over here. The topic for today's discussion for my research paper is the role of people's participation in community development. Now, when I'm talking about people's participation in community development, what I'm looking at is that the participation which is going to happen is a process in which individuals will be involved in taking initiatives. They'll be deciding, planning, implementing, and managing a lot of its activities individually and as a group. So it can be a process of social development in which people as subjects in their own environment would like to seek out ways in which they can meet their collective needs and expectations and to overcome their common problems. This is where we talk about community development. At the same time, we have to take into account self-help and mutual help spirit, which will really help to accelerate the process of achievement of the common interest which a group-based activity project can really take up. So what the basic aim of this whole process of this research activity is not only to gain information. The idea over here is to understand what is the meaning and the process of participation when it comes to people's participation in community development. I have realized one thing while doing research on this, that we are talking about the power relationship, its equalization, where people come together to participate and have an open-ended approach. It's very important to have it that way. This can be through maybe dialogue sharing, it can be sharing ideas, maybe raising consciousness, or maybe facilitating local people to be involved in local activities and affairs. So what I have thought about is we'll have a descriptive research design, and a lot of personal observation and document analysis has gone on working on this paper. Now, I have identified certain parameters which are the indicators for this particular action of people's participation in a community situation. So the main parts over here are, first, it should be something where people are having an awareness. They should be able to reflect. They should be able to introspect and then take an action. This will bring about lot of impact when it really comes to the participation from the general public. Now, this is where we think about the capacity, what a person can have to exercise their own individual abilities. Everyone is blessed with some other ability which can be taken up, which can be exercised for the common benefit of the community. So if people really participate and put in their best leg ahead, put in the best foot ahead, it can really make a big impact and take it forward. Now, this can only work when they're given an opportunity and they take the initiative to really control their own lives. It's very important, friends. If we don't have a control on our own life, what are we talking about? Community development. So it's very important to have a control over our own personal lives. Then only we can take it forward. And this is where we are talking about developing and enhancing confidence. It's very important. We are supposed to have that. Our keynote speaker, our guest speakers, our chairperson of the session, Madam Tamara also mentioned this. Okay, yes, it's very important to have confidence. Even the other speaker, Boluwatiwi Madam, also emphasized on the role of IT and everything. So the same thing I can add over here, that it will help us to enhance skills and knowledge of individual people. And this is where we are talking about not only gaining confidence for ourselves, but to gain confidence and have a power over the other party also, because they will also be a party to the whole discussion. They'll be willing to work as a team, and self-evaluation will work over here. Once we have evaluated our decisions, our role, what we are playing, how are we taking a participation in the community work, this is where we really take it forward. This is where the individuals will experience empowerment. It will help in encouraging collective empowerment. So if people really understand, an individual person understands and becomes empowered, so it will have a group community life development. And this is where we can develop our own individual and community exercise. So to conclude the whole discussion, I personally have an opinion that empowerment has been defined as people's ability to act on their problems and needs, gaining more control over their individual life and other people's lives. This is where we are empowering participation from the people. Researching, discussing is equally important, and it is supposed to bring around lot of empowerment in community activities, self-help activities, and welfare and adult education. The outcome of this will be that the people will be able to solve their own problems in the social lives. At the same time, they'll work towards community development. On the whole, people empowerment is achieved by people's participation in development activities, by participating together in the spirit of self-help community development initiated activities. So this is what I would like to share. It's been a pleasure to share my thoughts with you. Thank you to the organizers for giving me this opportunity. Thank you, Bedkar sir. It was really an honor to present this paper in front of you. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Ganatra Kashyap sir, for presentation of your research paper. Now, after the paper presentations, now I would like to invite the chairperson of this technical session, Honorable Dr. Baburao Jadhav sir from SRTM University, Nanded, for his concluding remarks about the paper presentations.
Okay,
sir.
okay.
Yes, sir. Yes. Before the concluding speech of the session chair, I would like to notify all the delegates, is there anybody who wants or she wants to present her research paper in this international e-conference? Please, if anybody. I request participants and delegates, if you want to present your opinion about the international conference and about the innovative activities which are conducted by the college, please give your opinion. Your opinions, your suggestions and recommendations are very valuable for us for the future improvement. Please, if any delegate or participant.
Prakash sir, Jadhav sir, with your permission, can I speak, sir?
Yes, yes.
Thank you, sir. First and foremost, sir, I would like to really express my gratitude to the organizing committee, right from the principal, sir, over here, that this topic which we have taken up, it's something which is very important because we are talking about community participation. So personally, I belong to Department of Accountancy and Commerce, but I really found this topic so inviting and so much impressive that I thought, why not a finance person should also take an initiative to, look into topics which are really not my core area of expertise. But then the community part of feeling, and myself and Dr. Hemlata Masiwal, my colleague over here, we both even belong to NSS cell. So we are part of NSS unit. We are the POs. So this community service and mutual growth and helping, all these activities which we are working on, it really struck a chord amongst us. Yes, we can take up this as an opportunity to express our gratitude and express our feelings. What goes into that, if a person individually or as a group, if takes up the initiative to help the community and the society, it can really make a big difference. Such opportunities are very rare. People don't get opportunities. I've heard a lot about people saying that I want to volunteer, I want to help the community, the society, but unfortunately they are not given an opportunity. So the platform which we have been given today, it's really a big platform, and I really wish success for the organizing committee and the college that you take this series ahead. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Dr. Kashyap, sir. Now, after this, is there anybody? I think now there is nobody to present paper. So now over to Honorable Dr. B.S. Dada for his concluding remarks.
Okay,
Please, sir.
thank you. This was the last session of this conference. So in these technical sessions, we have 3 research papers. One first paper was presented by Supriya Chatterjee, West Bengal. Her paper was based on a novel, and she put the idea very interesting, ideal social world. And really, if you see that it should be in practice, her whole argument was utopian. But in really, I am a student of sociology, and I worked on tribal communities. my interested research area in tribal communities. So I find that many things we can learn, communal values, harmonious values, democratic values from the tribal communities. But it is not ideal, but in practically many rural and tribal communities, they practice the democratic values in their daily life. So we have to learn from them. If we go in the field at grassroots level, then we will be, like as already Ganatantra sirs argued that they are working in the, even though he is from commerce and management, but due to his assignment of NSS, National Service Scheme, he has visited village camp, and as a result of that, he has also his outlook has changed, and he has become the social scientist. Actually, development is an interdisciplinary concept. Each and every disciplines, either it be a commerce, science, social science, humanities, we have to talk about the development, and each and everybody has its own perspective, and it is a really interdisciplinary, multidisciplinary. So Supriya Chatterjee has given a very best idea. It was an ideal social model, but in reality, my own experience is that there are many ideal societies in our India or across the world. We have to visit, we have to learn from the marginal tribal communities, we have to adopt their values, and we can learn many things from the grassroots levels. Then next paper was Hemlata. She was also from sociology and focused on the participatory, community participatory approach. Friends, we know that the history of development shows that the Eastern model of development, the earlier model of development was based on a trickle-down theory, based on a top-to-bottom approach. But after 1970s, we find that the development paradigm is shift. It has come from top to bottom. We have to discuss, we have to go in the field, follow the grassroots level approach. We have to collect the ground realities, people's participation. Community participation has become very major issues after the failure of a Western model of development, economic growth model of development. And that existing model has neglected the needs of the common people, needs of the grassroots people. As a result of that, the rural community, tribal community, the Dalits and women, the racial groups are excluded from the process of development. They could not get the fruits of development, and development has become a practice of a tourism. Administrative and bureaucratic make it tourism. They will be go for as a implementing development policy for enjoyment, their own enjoyment. But this model has now changed, and we have to, for bring out inclusive development, social development, we have to adopt a people's participation, community participation approach. And I think all the three paper presenters, Ganatantra Kashyap sir has also focused on the power dynamics and open people's participation. Means if you wanted to overall development, inclusive development, integrated development, sustainable development, each and every sections of the society should be participated. Unless or until we cannot fulfill the goals of development, we cannot fulfill the goals and objectives of sustainable development. There's development should be inclusive, development should be integrated, it should be social. Social development means each and every sections of the society, representations of each and every class should be included in the each and every process of a development. Thus, so it was very interesting initiatives. I appreciate the attempt of this college organizing team who has selected very interesting theme, invited resource persons across the world. I also thankful to all participants, paper presenters who listen me very carefully and given me chance to chair the session and explain my own views on the social development. Thank you very much. Thank you, all of you.
Thank you, sir, for your assessive comments about the research paper presentations and also about your opinion about the participation of people in community development. And I also thank on behalf of the college for your good words about our innovative activity and about the college.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Now, after this, at the end, I am here for vote of thanks. First of all, I would like to thank the chief organizer, Hassan.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Now I am here for the vote of thanks. First of all, I would like to thank the chief organizer, Principal Dr. M. Bedkar sir, who is conducting many innovative activities. And he is an inspiration for us. And because of him, a daily webinar series is going on. Every day there is a webinar at 8 p.m. At the same time, simultaneously, the college is also conducting many national and international conferences about various subjects and topics. So, on behalf of the organizing committee of the college, I thank you, sir, for providing us this opportunity to listen about various topics. I also thank today's chief guest and keynote speaker, Honorable Tamara Mathew ma'am from Portugal, Europe, who has delivered an enlightening lecture on the topic Future Development and Reimagining the Status Quo. On behalf of the college and the organizing committee, I extend sincere thanks to Honorable Tamara Mathew ma'am. The next chief guest, Honorable Boluwatiwi Ayo-Opaleke ma'am from Nigeria, who has spoke about or on the topic the adaptive leadership advantage in crisis response. We are enlightened because of her illustrative and informative speech. So I'm very grateful to ma'am for her keynote speech and for sparing her time and accepting our invitation. I also thank Honorable Dr. Baburao Zadav sir, who is HOD Sociology, SRTM University, Nanded. Because of your presence in the technical session, your concluding remarks, your assessment of research papers, and your valuable thoughts, we have got a lot of things and knowledge from your words also. So thank you, sir, on behalf of the college and the organizing committee.
Thank you. Thank you.
I also thank the delegates and participants who are the soul of our webinar series and the series of conferences. Because of your participation and because of your paper presentations, the series and the conference is becoming meaningful and fruitful. I thank the paper presenters, Honorable Dr. Supriya Chatterjee ma'am from West Bengal. I also thank Dr. Himlata Masiwal ma'am from BM Ruiya Girls College. And I thank Dr. Ganatra Kashyap sir from BM Ruiya Girls College for presentation of papers. And I also thank the whole organizing committee, convener Dr. Shivaji Balure sir, HOD Department of Sociology, co-convener Dr. Dayanand Patwari, HOD Department of Political Science, and Nagesh Sadhu sir from Department of Sociology. And now I request all the participants and delegates, please fill feedback link which has been sent in the chat box for getting your certificate. And now, with the kind permission of Chief Organizer, Honorable Principal Dr. M. Ambedkar Sir, I declare here that today's international conference is over, but expecting your kind cooperation in future also. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Sir. Thank you. Yeah.